Holler if you hear me. Welcome to Tuesday night in this corner of YouTube land that I call my own. Everybody get on in and let's start this going. We're continuing on with our stream theme this week of doing the beautiful ladies of cartoons. Last night, out of protest of reducing her breasts, we went and did Little Miss Lola Bunny, which was very resoundingly positively received. That's the first double-digit likes I've had on a stream after day one in a while, and I think that's going to be one of my most popular streams going on forward. Besides that, we've also got really probably the first example, the one we should have maybe stood with, but I was eager to get in on the Lola Bunny train. So the 80s equivalent to Miss Lola right there being the one and only Jessica Rabbit, of course, from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, in my little rendering of her and all of her double D glory, maybe a 44 double D glory. But now I have to consult her bra size right there for all of you to see. And we've got some people coming on in. That's good. All the viewers out there that are been around and are in the know, say hello. All of those out there that are coming around for the first time and aren't in the know, also say hello. And that's in the chat and in the comments if you're watching this later on. Besides all that, let's all get this started with a little bit of what we've got doing here. See, I think I may have messed up there on the leg, though. That rendering that kneecap might be a little bit too much. I could probably erase that pen line. But besides that, I also wanted to show off something that I didn't last night, which was what I did last night with the Jessica Rabbit piece. No, the Lola Bunny piece. That pose was nothing you had seen on any Lola Bunny artwork I found online. The pose that I took of her was a recreation of something out of my very, very vast Playboy collection, including, yes, this one, the July 1992 issue of Little Miss Pamela Anderson, right after her career really was taking off with Home Improvement, her very small part in Home Improvement, and her very endowed part on Baywatch. You saw her here once again on the cover of Playboy in a very, very naughty cowgirl outfit. Of course, here, instead of Baywatch, they say the TV tool girl, Home Improvement's Pamela Anderson. And if you watch back on that show, the first couple seasons where they had her on, they went by her full legal birth name of Pamela Denise Anderson, which, okay. And yes, now if you look back and see what I did of Lola Bunny last night, you'll then recognize what's going on here. Except, of course, no cowgirl boots or the 10-gallon hat. Although, yes, this is an incredibly sexy look for, by Pam Anderson standards. Yes, it fits very, very well. But what doesn't fit well is Dan Greenberg learns to love safe sex. Or here's one. Super Mario, a revealing look at the elusive Mr. Cuomo. There's now 7 women coming forward about an elusive man named Cuomo, except he's instead of Super Mario, he's just Creepy Andrew. And when it comes to I've got already some comments here about Pamela's appearance in this cover here, and it's from Nick. He says, "At least Pamela don't look so overly plastic and fake on that cover as she later would." Oh yes, this was earlier on where she was a playmate in '89, I think it was, or no, she was a playmate in a 1990 issue, but her first Playboy appearance was on a cover for an issue in 1989. Right, which of course that cover I've seen. I also have. I think you've also seen here. I've shown it on a stream, and I know that my flagship video for my Thursday live up time lapse drawing, ladies, the debut was of Miss Anderson in her first ever cover appearance, which I think I drew her as Zatanna because of Zatanna with her magician's top hat. I thought, okay, the little hat she's holding over her. Over the groin, we'll call it the groin. Yes, that was one where yes, this is one I have to do. Yes, and then Nick says Cuomo is not so elusive to the woke lynch mob nowadays. Yes, the same people that were championing him during the height of the pandemic now are the same people who are the off with the head, the torches and the pitchforks. His brother Chris is going to be trying to hide him in the windmill, and then the people are going to burn the windmill down, and then Chris will be up on top roaring, "Fire, bad!" There's where is the bunny? Asks Relentless. Well, that's why Relentless side the illustration of Lola Bunny. I have it up already up posted, ready to be photographed and posted for sale up on my wall. But yeah, that's one where you'd have to go and look that if you don't know what I'm talking about. But yes, Miss Lola Bunny from Space Jam back in the 90s, which I think I'm not sure you weren't there for most of the stream last night, but I did bring up how yes, the very interesting sensations I had being a 4-year-old, yes, being a kindergartner, going to see a Looney Tunes movie, and then there's a sexy blonde bunny girl, showing up in her gym shorts and her belly shirt, and certainly knew that she was sexy. Certainly knew the effect she had on men, just so long as they didn't call her doll. Yes, that's the worst kind of lady. The lady who knows the kind of effect she has and knows how to dress and act accordingly, instead of just being a pissy little hypocrite or some kind of whiner about it, Margot Robbie getting her stardom by spreading her legs on camera for a famous man, and now wants to go and act like she's all super feminist with starting some little chicken shit production company and slapping her name on some crap that's made to win Oscars from exploiting feminist dogma. It's like yeah, you're talking about a reckoning for men everywhere. Lady, here's a handkerchief. Go wipe the Will Smith semen off your lips. And in other news, Nick says about he loved Space Jam as a kid too, and had the soundtrack. Oh yes, I know that almost every big movie in the 90s had a soundtrack tie-in, whether it was something like Space Jam that was a big crossover vehicle for Michael Jordan and Bugs and the Looney Tunes, not just Bugs Bunny, but even like indie, quote unquote indie films like Clerks were getting big soundtrack tie-ins with them, where I think all the rights to get all the songs on the soundtrack, the Clerks, cost more than the actual movie made. It cost to make the movie. And Space Jam, of course, had them, except retrospectively, the only one people really remember is, they might remember another one, but the first thing they remember is of course, I Believe I Can Fly from R. Kelly. And the other one I remember was Seal's cover of Fly Like an Eagle. Because that was a big song in the 70s that Seal did a cover for. And I'm guessing his label must have been Warner Records, because besides that one big hit he had when he still had hair, the other two big songs that Seal might be remembered for from the 90s is two songs related to soundtrack tie-ins with Warner Brothers. And both they were singles that had music videos tied in with the movies they were promoting. Of course, the Kiss from a Rose song from the Batman Forever soundtrack, and his cover of Fly Like an Eagle from the Space Jam soundtrack. Yes, and Nick isn't quite in disagreement with my comment on Promising Young Woman, since it's an off year when a Borat movie is up for Best Picture. Yes. And Nick says, yes, the Batman Forever song was amazing, except that's another one where they had a big soundtrack tie-in among all the other bits of merchandising tie-in with Batman Forever, because that was the one where Warner Brothers wanted to course correct for all of the advertising dollars and merchandising dollars that Tim Burton alienated with how dark and how gory and how kinky the Batman Returns was, where McDonald's pulled the Happy Meal tie-in with the film. And they even had, I think it was like on Sally Jesse Raphael's show, they had a bunch of kids on talking about how like mean and how scared the movie was making them. For you do have a fanged, short, perverted Danny DeVito as your villain who bites a man's nose and it starts gushing blood. And the Lorraine Newman from Saturday Night Live is also in the scene. She was also the Alamo tour guide in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And there's a Danny DeVito, oh, I'd like to fill her void. Maybe teach her my French flipper trick. Yeah, every other line that for like a couple scenes, every other line Danny DeVito says is some kind of sex pun that sounds like it'd be coming out of Andrew Dice Clay's stand-up or in like an 80s teen sex comedy. There's the Michelle Pfeiffer's line about the fly in both our ointment. Oh, ointment, scented or unscented. Yes. Yeah, but the people were complaining when The Dark Knight Rises was made, and that Anne Hathaway's costume was too tight on her butt. At least her costume doesn't look like it was stitched together from assorted latex fetish jackets that got staple gunned together to make a costume. And an actress who, with every line reading, sounds like she's impersonating Samantha from Sex and the City, except the show wouldn't premiere for another 6 years. So my guess is that's why that's where Kim Cattrall stole the performance from. She watched Michelle Pfeiffer in Batman Returns Nicole Kidman in Batman Forever and and Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy in Batman and Robin, and just took notes and said, okay, I'll combine all three of these cartoonishly horny ladies who all look like they're doing bad Mae West impressions and put them together, and I'll get, oh well. Oh well, Carrie. Well, you know me. I like to go around the world, so I let the fireman take me on his hose all around the world. Yes, and Vicky T has introduced herself in the chat saying, not feeling well, but I made it. Yes, so that means all three of my fabulous felines are in the chat. Let me tell you something, brother. All this crap in this arena, Mean Gene, represents a new world organization of fabulous felines. The following announcement has been paid for by the Fabulous Feline Order. And all of Millionaire Ted's horses and all of Ted's men couldn't put the WCW back together again. Hey, you want to know who our third feline was? And we brought you in Vicky T. Now everybody's wondering who our fourth fabulous feline is going to be. Well, that's what you're going to have to say. And don't worry, don't call us, we'll call you. Don't you know, my fabulous felines? I got a match with a giant at Road Wild. And yes, Jessica Rabbit is awesome. And if you didn't see last night, Vicky, I also, out of protest of reducing her cup size, I did Little Miss Jessica Rabbit from Little Miss Lola Bunny from Space Jam, and of course, I got quite a lot of traction for that, because I don't care, if all this talk about you don't like labels and it's supposed to be free love and live your truth, then for those out there who see a scorching hot blonde bunny girl and want a piece of that, this is America. And much to the chagrin of LeBron James, this isn't communist China. So if there's guys out there, there's even women out there who are looking at a bunny lady with some nice bunny boobies in her little shorts, in her little crop top, bouncing around on the court, bongy, 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 like a hybrid of Cameron Diaz in The Mask, Jessica Rabbit, and Hollywood from Cool World. This is America. And by God, her boobies should be free. Especially that was a movie that came out during the re-election of Bill Clinton. So yes, my fellow Americans, especially as me, as an incorrigible pervert, and as the leader of the free world, I say it is our constitutional rights for all Americans, whether you are attracted to men, to women, or to hot little cartoon bunny ladies, to enjoy and live your life in the depths of love. And if you love that Lola Bunny, well, I love her too. Go right ahead. I would like to demonstrate my move on her, which I call Phi Slamma Jamma, and show her why I would always am better in there than Akeem Olajuwon. And yes, I did hear, Nick, that Pepe Le Pew is not going to be in Space Jam 2. And my response to that is to quote a meme I saw of on Twitter where it was how many women have actually been raped by Pepe Le Pew? And below that comment was a gif of Michael Cohen saying the answer is 0. Yes. How many actual women have I sexually assaulted in the world? None, because I'm a cartoon. I'm just a cartoon man who sees a little kitty or some other squirrel get a little stripe across her back by accident with paint or with whiteout. I think she is a skunk, and I'm instantly in love, mon chéri. And it's not like we haven't already heard this before. Decades ago with Dave Chappelle in his stand-up on Def Comedy Jam and in his HBO comedy half-hour one night stand where he's talking about watching cartoons with his nephew. He's like, Pepe Le Pew, what kind of rapist motherfucker is this? Like, I'm watching this with my nephew. He's looking at this like, well, sometimes Uncle Dave, you just got to take the pussy. This is yes. Okay, I saw somebody, the greatest generation. They were the generation that were born in the Great Depression, living in Hoovervilles, living in tenements, and they went and valiantly elected to went and accepted their being drafted to serve their country, take down the Nazis, take down Tojo, take down Mr. Mussolini, and then rebuild America from the scrap iron and from all the other debris and the rubble that the generation before turned it into with the Great Depression. And this current generation is triggered and sent into the fainting couch and crying over a cartoon Frenchman who does not. Nothing anything different from what any other guy in Hollywood does when they see something they want to bang. Difference is that he was the one dumb enough doing it on camera. It's like, either way, mon chéri, I'm a little cartoon man, and all I do is grab you and I kiss you on the face over and over. Compare that to the real life men who do that to real life women, like the Harvey, the man who pleasured himself into a potted plant in a crowded restaurant in front of a woman who was not even an actress who wanted to win Oscar. She was just some woman that made Harvey angry. Oh, the little story, the little Mon Chéri, Angie Everhart. She went on the TMZ Live to describe falling asleep in the bed on the yacht at the Cannes Film Festival, waking up and finding Harvey right there, beating his meat vigorously to the sight of her sleeping unconscious body. And may I remind you, at the time, she was with Mr. Sylvester Stallone. He is only an actor, but put a little actor like him next to Mr. Harvey, and he would make him pay. Weinstein, I'm coming for you. And then what would stop Stallone flying in with a helicopter with an M60 going crazy on Harvey like that if he found out about that? Or no, the other one, the Demolition Man version, where he rappels down in a helicopter, rappels down from the helicopter like fucking Sting in 1996, screaming, Harvey! And then, locks and loads and gets ready on Weinstein for figuring out what he did to his girl. Or no, better yet, like I'm not sure. I don't know if RG ever heard dated Joe Pesci before or after Stallone, but yeah, her other big paramour, a celebrity paramour, Mr. Joe Pesci. What'd you do? What'd he do? What did Javi do? All right, wait. Where's my crowbar? I'm gonna be back. I'll be back in about a few minutes. Okay, honey. I know how to take care of this. Little bastard just starts stomping away on him. And they put him in the trunk. Fat ass Harvey's all broken and bruised, bagging away on the trunk. Oh, blah, blah. They take him out. They don't even bother wasting their bullets. They just go freaking Steven Seagal on his ass and break his wrists with their bare hands, twisting him over. What? Joe, what did you do to Harvey? Well, he thought he was invisible, he thought he was invincible, and he thought he could fly. He was wrong on both accounts. Yes. Yes. And another one from Nick. Except this is a line from the 40-Year-Old Virgin. This has nothing to do with Pepe Le Pew or Harvey Weinstein, but you know what your problem is? You're putting the pussy up on a pedestal. Yeah, that's the second time I've heard that. What is the pussy on the pedestal thing? Is that real? Is it just something that he's making up? God. Yeah. Oh, here's one. Nick's bringing up, you can see Sting's match from Sunday, the AEW pay-per-view on YouTube for free. It was a cinematic match. I watched it a few hours ago. Just search AEW Revolution Sting. You'll see, unless it's been removed. That's like those pay-per-views where somebody pirates them and puts them on YouTube, or it's like the end credits, the post-credit scenes to Marvel movies, or like when there's like a new big nude scene in some Hollywood movie where somebody will put their phone up to the screen and film it and put it on YouTube, and it gets like taken down in a few hours. Like I remember when that terrible spy movie Red Sparrow came out, the whole movie was marketed around. They called the movie Red Sparrow because the honest title of Jennifer's body was already taken. Because the whole film was revolved around, hey, you're gonna get to see Jennifer Lawrence naked. Nothing you haven't already seen before on the fappening.com, but here, if she's gonna have her body be exploited, but she's gonna get paid millions of dollars for it. But then we're going to act like it's some big like feminist. She's getting the rights back over her body. Lady, there's proof of you willingly sleeping with Harvey Weinstein to win an Oscar. You ain't earned rights over your body back in the first place. You pawned that off permanently the second you wanted to get to the top, and you knew Harvey Schlong was the way to it. So here's Vicky's got another one. She brings up Yosemite Sam and just realizing how much today's generation would censor that. Oh no, because he's a rootin' tootin' Southern stereotype. So all the transparently negative, ignorant stereotypes on Southerners, that's perfectly fine. That those will be okay. Nick brings up soon they'll try and cancel Speedy Gonzalez, and I've been a longtime fan of comedian Gabriel Iglesias. The man has the uncanny ability to come off as charming and entertaining for all ages as a comedian and all crowds as a comedian. Even when he's doing bits like this anecdote about when he sent his black friend a gift basket full of fried chicken, Kool-Aid, malt liquor, Ebony magazine, and a big watermelon. And in that, it turns out he's the voice of Speedy Gonzalez in the Space Jam sequel. And he tweeted, "Neither I nor none of my friends or family or anybody else I know in the Latin community have ever found Speedy Gonzalez offensive." And another Hispanic said, I'm a Latino man, and none of us in my family or in my community have ever found Speedy Gonzalez offensive. To us, he's a hero. And if you try and cancel him or remove him, I will fucking pummel you." And Iglesias also said, "You'll never, cancel culture will never be able to catch me because I am the fastest mouse in all of Mexico. I am fluffy and I'm the fastest mouse of all in Mexico. I would like to see you try and stop me. You know why you can't stop me? Because not only am I the fastest mouse in Mexico, but also I got a Beetle. I got a Volkswagen Beetle. I can pull in. I'm so fast I can pull over, stop to pick up my friend Martin, have the gangsters make the fat jokes about me, and still drive away, and cancel culture won't get me because I'm fluffy. The fastest fluffy in all of Mexico. Martin, odele. Look, everyone, it's the Fat and the Furious. Martin, odele. Hey there, Holmes. When you fart, does your car go faster? I just want to know, man. How do you fit into that? Is that thing a clown car, man? Are you in the circus? Yes. Or better yet, if they really are transparently going to do woke pandering by making the new Marvel Studios X-Men all diverse, and how about a race swap casting of Gabriel Iglesias as the Blob and have him just go and like crush everybody with his gut? That'd be great. Relentless brings up the Wizard of Oz and how much she loves that. I bet now that there's going to be somebody who will be offended by the flying monkeys and somehow say that's blackface, or that the Tin Man's face paint is offensive, or and have the Wicked Witch fly down and go, "Oh, blow out your ass, Scarecrow." And not even the real Wicked Witch of the West, the Mila Kunis Wicked Witch in the West would tell them to shut up. Don't you people have anything real to complain about? Vicky's actually, Vicky corrected me. Shh, don't give them any ideas. I just gave Anita Sarkeesian ideas on trying to cancel the Wizard of Oz. Or to make Turner Classic Movies show the Wizard of Oz on its annual 24-hour Wizard of Oz anniversary broadcast they always do, but now they'll put a disclaimer about how this represents problematic past worldviews. I tried to watch Beverly Hills Cop the other day, and on the Paramount Network, and the damn thing has a title card saying this movie shows offensive, antiquated views. Man, shut your ass up. Yes. Shut up, shut yo ass up, shut the fuck up. You're a snowflake, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, shut yo. Yes, I'm trying to tell him to shut the fuck up to the tune of the Beverly Hills Cop song, the theme, the little instrumental jingle. Shut your snowflake ass up, shut your snowflake ass up, shut your goddamn snowflake ass up. Bum bum bum. Or no, better yet, they'll want to cancel Beverly Hills Cop 2 because of the Hugh Hefner cameo. The bit where the Axel Foley goes to track down the villain at a Playboy party, and we see Hugh Hefner and all the playmates at the time, and the disgusting that Hugh Hefner was a rapist, and Playboy represents the evil patriarch. We must censor. We digitally replace all the playmates we see with the anorexic lesbians with Justin Bieber crew cuts, or women that represent their real body beauty, and they're all overweight, overweight with side shaves and more hair colors than personality traits. Just have old 80s raw Eddie Murphy tell him, man, shut the fuck up. That's or have all those playmates that you see in that scene Beverly Hills Cop 2, just line them all up and have them all take turns to tell them, get a life. Or better yet, if you're eagle-eyed fans of Beverly Hills Cop 2, remember that the valet at the Playboy Mansion is the cinematic debut of one Chris Rock. And have him go up there, and him with his 80s flat top and his donkey teeth tell them to shut the fuck up. Here's one. And Relentless, for those of you who want to know the exact title track of the theme to Beverly Hills Cop, Relentless has it right here. Harold Faltermeyer, and the name and the title of the song is Axel F. I'm pretty sure if I played that song, I'd wind up getting a copyright strike, so I can sing the parody of it, the Snowflake parody of Axel F, which is Snowflakes shut the fuck up, Snowflakes shut the fuck up, Snowflakes shut your goddamn ass up. Dun dun. That's or I that could do the better thing is the sequel. That's the one where the famous Detroit Lions Letterman jacket that Eddie Murphy wears, that like most people think, like mistakenly believe that's like his signature jacket throughout the whole series. Like Beverly Hills Cop, that was made by Paramount around the same time they were doing the Indiana Jones movies, and that's like for Eddie Murphy in those movies, that's like his like the aviator jacket that Indiana Jones always wore. That's now people mistakenly see the Lions Letterman jacket he wore in the sequel as what he wore in all the movies. It was, I think he only wore it in the second one, and just that became like so famous that people mistakenly. The same thing with another Paramount franchise in the 80s, Friday the 13th. Jason's not the original killer, and he doesn't wear his legendary Terry Sawchuk copied goalie mask until part 3. The first sequel you see him in, he's in overalls with a potato sack with an eye hole. He looks like a hillbilly on Halloween. It was a And Relentless says the Beverly Hills Cops franchise, she saw those in the theater right here in the Motor City where I and she reside in. And well, those all three of those, only the first act ever actually takes place in the city because it's Beverly Hills Cop. So you see the first third, and then he goes to Beverly Hills. Except the big difference is the first and second one, he's got that white friend cop on the force who was the guy Paul Reiser from Mad About You. Except between the first and second one, he had his part as the evil company guy in Aliens, and because of that, he got more well known. So they gave him a bigger part in the second one. Whereas like one scene in the first movie, then he did Aliens, had more exposure. So they give him a B story where he has to pose for Eddie Murphy so that it looks like he's still doing his Vice Squad undercover stuff, and really he's off in Beverly Hills trying to track down that creepy German guy from Rambo 2 and Brigitte Nielsen. Yes, and Nick says Luke hates wokeness, and Mildred's response to all that is a quote of another 80s masterpiece that would not get made today, and I'm surprised it's allowed to exist anymore because of how much it offenses it would offend everyone from here to Timbuktu and the super left woke crowd, and that is Roadhouse. The immortal line of one Patrick Swayze as Dalton. Sometimes it's time to not be nice. Yes. And actually, I'm proud to say, I think it was a gift from Relentless. I have a Blu-ray of Roadhouse right here in all of its, back-breaking, wrist-snapping, gun-toting, Pam Anderson stunt woman strip-teasing glory. That's one of those 80s movies where I think they only had a actress with a speaking role who doesn't get naked. And even ladies who don't have lines get naked in Roadhouse. And that's the one waitress in the film who was also that one girl in private school who never got topless. That was her typecasting. She was the average looking lady in TNA films that never got topless. It was Relentless corrects. No, that was not a gift from her. That must have been a one from Nick then. No, yeah, because Relentless, I think, sent me Showgirls. I believe that was when she sent me, because I brought up the films enough time. I brought that one up enough times, and yes, we both enjoy that film. Yes, and that's why I think I asked before, but we talked a lot about Steven Seagal during the last night's stream. We were wondering, Relentless, do you? Oh yes, Relentless confirms she's the one who sent me the Showgirls Blu-ray, not Roadhouse, but. We want to know, Relentless, did you enjoy Under Siege for something other than Erica Laniak's breasts? Did any of the skull cracking action of Steven Seagal entertain you at all? Or that's why the movie he did before Under Siege, I would also recommend Out for Justice, because you get softcore legend Shannon Weary is in the film as a waitress who spends all her screen time in a Playboy Club bunny looking outfit with her heaving breasts jiggling in her top. We also get a young Gina Gershon as the bar owner. We also get Julie Strain gets a little cameo, and the one Seagal did before that, Marked for Death, you get Playmate Terry Weigel has a cameo as an anonymous hooker who gets she's in the middle of some time with her John, who's supplying guns to Jamaican drug dealers that Steven Seagal stomps on in for information and then throws them out a window. That was the same year that Playmate Terry Weigel had a small role in Predator 2 as the woman that the Colombian drug lord is having intense, rough sex with in his penthouse before the rival Jamaican drug lords break in, hang him upside down by his feet nude, are about to ritualistically rip his heart out when the Predator comes in and kills everyone in the room, ritualistically skins them all alive, hangs them up from the ceiling by their feet, except for a fully nude and crying Terry Weigel, who's mumbling in fear in Spanish. And okay, well, now we know, according to Relentless, all of Under Siege rocked. It wasn't just the amazing ass and succulent breasts of one Miss Erica Laniak. Yes. And Relentless also recommends The Long Kiss Goodnight. Yeah, that was one that I caught on cable once. And yes, that was that time when Miss Gina Davis wanted an action star because she married the director of Die Hard 2. And then he went and made Cutthroat Island and The Long Kiss Goodnight with her as his leading lady. Sort of like the 90s equivalent of when Paul W.S. Anderson married Mila Jovovich and he revolved the entire Resident Evil franchise around her. Or that guy Len Wiseman who did Underworld and then he married Kate Beckinsale and then just revolved the whole franchise around, her as an action star. Yeah, I haven't seen Cutthroat Island. I've heard that it's one of like the worst films of the 90s. It came out the same year as Showgirls, and while Showgirls' opinion has like evolved over the years, the Cutthroat Island still, for people who even remember it, they look at it and say, yeah, that was a big pile of shit. While on the other hand, to quote Gina Davis's ex from his immortal line in Jurassic Park, he'd look at The Long Kiss Goodnight and say, that is one big pile of shit. At Cutthroat Island, Cutthroat Island, he would call one big pile of shit. The Long Kiss Goodnight, I've heard good things about it. It's just, I'm guessing because the stink of, the director and star of Cutthroat Island, that's what led to Long Kiss Goodnight bombing. And now since then, over the years on cable, it's been viewed better since then, yes. I haven't seen all the Underworld movies. I've only seen the first one, and I thought it was entertaining. I wasn't expecting an action masterpiece. I was most of the time distracted by Kate Beckinsale and that leather, that PVC cat suit, which now you see why there was a franchise in the first place. A franchise that took 15 years over all those sequels to the point where by that time the director and leading lady's real life daughter was old enough to start being featured in the movies with them. Yeah. Yes, I remember there was a time where my father lived in this apartment complex that had its own little supermarket, and in its supermarket you could rent movies, and they also had movie posters, and they had a poster in their market for The Long Kiss Goodnight. That was the first time I heard of it. They had a poster for The Long Kiss Goodnight right there by the counter, right where all the movies were available to rent. And according to Relentless, Kate is so hot. Yes. It's not just how good she looks physically, because she's like the rare example of like a Hollywood actress who actually is like legitimately has any kind of like health or fitness to her. She's not just bony. She's not just a skin and bone like a Zoe Saldana or a Margot Robbie or a Gwyneth Paltrow. She actually looks like she's got some like tone on her from Pilates or something like that. And on top of that, the silken dark hair, the alluring eyes, and the accent to die for. Like Elizabeth Hurley, if she actually was in shape instead of just runway model stick. Yes. High grade sushi, high grade Yorkshire sushi, or better yet, grade A Yorkshire pudding. So that's why I was never a fan of The Office, but I am jealous of Office star John Krasinski for marrying that nice Yorkshire pudding Emily Blunt. He gets to go home to Mary Poppins, while most men get to go home to their hand. Yes. I'd say high grade A, because pudding's a dairy product. It's not high grade; it would be grade A. Yes. A lovely dairy product like Kate Beckinsale is grade A Yorkshire pudding, and I'd like to have 3 cupfuls. It may get me congested, but the taste is too delicious to resist. I'm not the first one to make that pun about sexy British women and calling them Yorkshire pudding. That was a line from a movie I heard. I don't know if you remember, they tried to do a sequel to Van Wilder without Ryan Reynolds because it was that they tried to pull an Evan Almighty. If you remember that the movie where Jim Carrey is God, that was like a Steve Carell had a part in it before 40-Year-Old Virgin in The Office really made him a name. So they wanted to do a sequel. Of course, Jim Carrey had a very well understood phobia of doing sequels for the longest time until his career fell apart. So they tried to do a sequel to Bruce Almighty with Steve Carell, and it tanked. They tried doing that around the same time with Van Wilder of doing a sequel with his Hindu assistant, because then, like the year after Van Wilder, he was in Harold and Kumar, and if you remember the little Ryan Reynolds cameo as the doctor that starts molesting Kumar when he's doing the operation, calling him sexy and wiping the sweat off his glistening chocolate lips. Yeah, they did Van Wilder 2 with him, except now he's doing some kind of like teacher assistant work in like some high society British school. And there's his love interest is Maggie from The Walking Dead, except she's actually British, so you hear her speaking with a real accent. And yet, yes, a pre-Walking Dead Lauren Cohen is his love interest, and they eventually do get together, and they're doing a little scene where she's giving him a little strip show. She's like licking her palm and like rubbing her face like she's a little naughty kitty, giving herself a little bath. Like, actually, going back to Batman Returns, like Michelle Pfeiffer in Batman Returns, when she's just licking her hand and wiping her body all over the place, and then she takes her top off, and you go, "Oh, there you go, my little Yorkshire pudding." I had never heard of referring to a sexy British woman as Yorkshire pudding before. And remember, the year after Space Jam gave me, the kindergartner, some unusual feelings in my pants, I went to Austin Powers, and yes, there was Elizabeth Hurley in her Emma Peel catsuit, also giving me those similar unusual feelings in my pants for someone who was in first grade. Oh yeah, and there's a weapons grade erection killer coming from Nick. He just said, "All this pudding talk is reminding me of Bill Cosby." Yes. Now I think that's the safe word. Our safe word here in the chat is, if all the talk about, me referring to attractive British women as Yorkshire pudding is starting to gross you out, just somebody bring up how the pudding talk is reminding you of Bill Cosby. The most lusty lady English accent in the world is not going to be instantly stopped straight, damn instantly, by mentioning Bill Cosby. There's a go with the Yorkshire pudding and the boop. Yes, she looked like a yummy Yorkshire pudding, even though I would say that no means yes. Hope with the pudding, the Yorkshire pudding pop, and you're going to enjoy my pudding pop, whether you're going to consent to it or not. Because no means a yes when you enjoy the pudding. It's like I'm reminded of the quote, the Richard Pryor quote that Eddie Murphy said in his stand-up movie Raw, when he called Richard Pryor after Bill Cosby called him offended by his jokes. And he said, Do the audience like what you say when you do? Yes, Richard. Do you get paid to say what you do on stage? Yes. Then tell Bill to have a Coke and a smile and shut the fuck up. Because when that fire hits your ass, that will sober your ass up quick. Yeah, oh man, big crazy thing, man. I'm a fucking cokehead. I was relapsing all over the place. I'm a man who married Pam Grier, and I cheated and relapsed on Pam Grier. I am a fucking moron, but I am not a serial rapist. I am Richard Pryor. I'm a man who was so drunk and so high and so untrustworthy towards my ladies that I had the ultimate ebony queen of the 1970s as my wife, and I cheated on her, and I lied to her about getting off the nose candy. I had so much cocaine in my system that when we fucked, eventually she wound up getting an infection in her vagina because the cocaine in my body was radiating out through my dick and getting into her pussy. And her gynecologist detected trace amounts of cocaine in her pussy that was causing a vaginal infection on Pam Grier. I'm not making this up. Go to Wikipedia, go Google this, and you will see that, yes, Pam Grier's pussy got infected intravenously by the cocaine that was in the body of Richard Pryor. You ungrateful bastard. You fucking moron. What are you? Even Gene Wilder, yes, his most famous white friend, Gene Wilder. What's the matter with you? Are you insane? You're married to Pam Grier, and you won't stop the nose candy in the name of loving Pam Grier? You are a dumbass. You get nothing. You lose. Good day, Richard. You better get off the goddamn cocaine to love Pam Grier. I'll knock your rotten head in. Yes, I'm not to break character. Yes, look that up seriously. There was a time where yes, Miss Foxy Brown married the star of Bustin' Loose, and yes, apparently she wound up getting some kind of infection in her vagina that her gynecologist detected because of all the cocaine in Richard Pryor's body when he relapsed on her was actually somehow going up through the skin in his penis in her body. And even then, after that, he still refused to use condoms with her. And of course, but her actually being the rare example of a lady in Hollywood with some goddamn brains in her head decided, no, I'm not going to allow this. You aren't going to use a fucking condom when you're doing so much goddamn cocaine that it's actually infecting my goddamn womb. I'm going to go and leave your ass, knowing I could just walk around anywhere, snap my fingers, and get 5 men of all races, colors, and creeds united and doing as I say. Just, yeah, look that up. Google, including Bill and Ted. Yes. The Bill and Ted and their Battle of the Bands performance that united the world in the Utopia is thanks to the Pam Grier in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Or the twist in the end though is that Pam Grier was just George Carlin in disguise. And I remember my first instinct with they finally greenlit doing Bill and Ted 3, and I thought, oh well, how are they going to work around George Carlin's death? And my first thought was, oh, they could do the thing where, oh, it's Pam Grier again. They can get Pam Grier to come back, say it's George Carlin, but then never have the Rufus character take off the disguise. Yes. What's what the fuck? What the truck? LOL nipple time. Oh yes, the very very. I don't know. Maybe yes. Let's do some erect nipples on Miss Jessica Rabbit right here. Right. Yeah, put the pudding in the. Yo man, shut the fuck up, Bill. Cosby, shut your ass up. I cheated all the time on the absolute most exceptional, most beautiful, most transcendental black woman of the 1970s. But none of the women I cheated on her with were rape victims, Bill. Fuck you. I was a man so hot on drugs, I set myself on fire. I got MS. I'm still somebody less fucked up than you, Billy. Billy boy. Jesus. I let my son get sexually molested by Paul Mooney. And yet I'm still less of a dumpster fire of a person than you, Bill. And yes, look that up. Richard Pryor's son recently came forward with allegations that Pryor's writer, his best known gag joke writer, Paul Mooney, who you remember from the Ask a Black Dude bit on Chappelle's show. He also was a writer on In Living Color who created the Homie the Clown character and is a popular long-running stand-up in his own right. Yes, Mr. Richard Pryor's son came forward with detailed allegations of how Mr. Paul Mooney, which is how Mooney was credited on the writing staff of In Living Color, Mr. Paul Mooney, supposedly sexually molested Mr. Richard Pryor's son. He's a. What else we got here? Yes. All that talk. We got some. It's somebody else wanting some nipple time. There's a. And Vicky, for all the talk here and all the vulgarity, she's going out and around giving hugs to all of her fabulous felines and everyone else in the chat. And another one from Nick is that Bill Cosby, he says, Bill Cosby makes me a very sad panda. And I don't like sad pandas. We have to worry about keeping the pandas alive. And sad pandas, a sad panda is a panda that's not getting it on and getting lady pandas pregnant. We need, I don't know why we're so obsessed with making sure that the pandas fuck all the time, but I mean, okay, yeah, endangered species, but do we have to obsess over it? It's the same thing I say about the people who obsess over, Tom Cruise is secretly gay, or John Travolta is in the closet. Like, why does it fucking matter if they're in the closet or not? Don't you have it's right down to wanting to, cancel Pepe Le Pew. It's a fucking cartoon. He's not actually rape. It's a cartoon character. Doesn't actually rape anybody. What does John Travolta, marrying Kelly Preston, but really being into dudes? Why does that matter? Why does it bother you so much? Is it like a jealousy thing? Because the hot redhead, he's married to the hot redhead from Jerry Maguire, but he's not, doing what you would want to do with her if you were married to her. Like, would you really want to? This was the lady who was engaged to Charlie Sheen. Sheen popped a cap in her ass, and then she wound up defending him for it, and went and married a freaking Scientologist. Do you think she was really that mentally stable either? She just did a better job of hiding it. Or maybe it was a time where, it was a phase, it was a college thing where she, was all right with a fiance that popped a cap in her ass. So, yeah, it was did Charlie Sheen think he was a member of NWA at the time or something? I'm coming straight out of Santa Monica High. In Sanmo. Charlie, tell me where you're from. Straight out of Sanmo. With a crazy brother named Emilio. Oh, yes. Then again, knowing a Sheen, he's probably got at least one hooker and one porn star locked in trapped somewhere in a well he has in his basement while he's petting Emilio. It rubs the lotion on the skin, or Emilio gets the hose again. It places the lotion in the basket. Oh yeah, I brought up Kelly Preston, and I think somebody's mentioning her wild sex scene in what was it, Jerry Maguire, where she's humping Tom Cruise while their dog's watching. And now Relentless brings up Sharon Stone's opening scene in Basic Instinct. Oh yes, the she's got the rock star boyfriend. She uses the silk scarves to tie him up, and they're doing it. She has like the 10th level yoga skill to be able to fold herself backwards while she's humping him. Reaches back, goes back for the ice pick, and then bop, 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 all like in his nose and his eye until he's just bleeding everywhere. Yep. All right. Oh, and some Mildred brings up also, don't forget Twins. We don't see her naked or actually get it on in Twins, but yes, there is that, that sort of PG-13 kind of a sexy scene, sort of like Cameron Diaz in The Mask, where we get Kelly Preston in the motel room in her tight little silken nightgown with Arnold and nothing but his boxers, and she, makes a man out of the Austrian oak. Oh, yes. Actually, no, yeah, I'd forgotten about, I forgot that she was in Twins, but yeah, there and the scene with Arnold and all that, but it was just, well, the same year Space Jam came out, I also saw Jerry Maguire in the theater, and yeah, there's that was a big monumental year for me. It was being a kindergartner, and there are several, big, hugely popular movies, something that could not be done today, obviously, where you got Jerry Maguire, and then you just randomly cut to, there's, Tom Cruise and his lady getting it on with that kind of bestiality sex that Kurt Angle would like, and there's their dog just sitting there just watching them. Apparently they enjoy giving their dog a show, and then after they're done, she starts talking about, if she'd be open to, another woman in the bed with them. Then again, in real life, Kelly Preston is used to having another man in the bed with her and John Travolta, so it was just, for her, it was more like a force of habit than really her, having one from column A and one from column B on her plate to, enjoy. What's that? Yep. Here's one. Someone else brings up about when it comes to, yes, R.I.P. Kelly Preston coming from Relentless. She died of I think last year, and it was a breast cancer. And someone else here says, oh yeah, Mildred says she had a type: drug addicts or guys in the closet. No wonder a young, desperate to get his career off the ground, George Clooney decided to break up with her. That was 80s perm flannel shirt George Clooney, the one from he was the handyman on The Facts of Life, and then he had that recurring role in the first season of Roseanne, as Jackie's boyfriend that she broke up with, and then the 10 episode run of the Look Who's Talking TV show where he was in the John. Ironically, he dated Kelly Preston, then broke up with her, and then he was the star of the co-star of the Look Who's Talking TV show where he was in the John Travolta role. Yeah, look that up. It's a little odd, but that's why I remember a while back where his son, Travolta had an autistic son that he named Jet because he's that much into aviation. He literally named his son Jet, and I think it was that he had some kind of problem, some neurological episode, and that's how he died. But Scientology, their drugs, pharmaceuticals, psychotherapy are against their religion, so that it was a matter of I think it was they refused to let him have any of the medication that would have saved the son from dying. Here's one of the. And Relentless says, I'm going to recruit that dog. So Relentless, you want to recruit the Jerry Maguire dog that's there just casually watching his owners get it on like sweaty, nasty pigs in the throes of animalistic passion? Is that because in that case of doing it in front of your dog, once again to quote Kurt Angle, that's that kind of perverted sex, that kind of bestiality sex. If a couple is doing it and one of their pets is in the room looking at them, does that count as bestiality? Does anybody there agree with me? Agree or disagree? Does sex with your pet in the room count as bestiality? I know the borderline, the line would cross, and it definitely would count if the dog got involved. Then that's just completely fucking wrong and disturbing. Well, so that Mr. Now he's completely gone crazy snowflake social justice warrior, but Seth Rogen's line in 40-Year-Old Virgin, where he tells a story about he was with this girl and then her dog walked in and started licking his ass as they were doing it, and he didn't stop the dog, he just went and finished anyway. Yeah, so. Nikosi's asking, what's with you and rabbits? This is a simple matter of this week I'm doing all sexy cartoon ladies, and I did Lola Bunny last night, so I'm going to continue with Jessica Rabbit, and I'm planning tomorrow I'm going to do Hollywood from Cool World, who was, cartoon babe, but, a transparent ripoff of Jessica Rabbit, just blonde, until Cameron Diaz in The Mask came along, and she showed how you do a blonde Jessica Rabbit ripoff well. And also, we want to know if you throw your 10 cents into this. We were bringing up Jerry Maguire and the scene where Tom Cruise has sex with his fiance while there are dogs in the room watching them, and whether or not it counts as bestiality if a couple is doing it with their pet in the room. Who's that? Yes, Nick, Relentless, Nikosi, Mildred, who else? Yes, Christopher. I want to know, do you think it counts as bestiality if a couple is doing it with their pet in the room? I personally think, yeah, it does count. That's leave the dogs out of it. That's not for animals' eyes. And then on top of that, it's a monkey see, monkey do situation where they do that and then they start imitating you with random toys and stuffed animals. Well, the first one to Relentless says it's totally okay by me, and Nick says, yeah, my cats like to follow me to the bathroom too. So I'm guessing Nick has experience with that. And Nikosi says it's not bestiality, but it's weird. Yeah, it is weird, but that was a little bit of planning and payoff with Kelly Preston's character Jerry Maguire, that she's perfectly fine, humping away on her man with her dog in the room, and then the first thing she says after they're done is to mention how yes she would be open with him with them being with another woman, and yes, there was a time where she did that in college. But it was a phase. It was a college thing, which okay. Apparently, it wasn't just a college thing where you like to do it with the pet in the room. Or maybe it was a college thing, but that was a college thing you didn't, grow out of or decide you didn't like after trying it. Yeah, it's and and Nikosi's a question about this. How am I going to move a snake or a fish? Well, if it's a kind of pet that you have to keep in a tank, like my brother had a snake, and I think we've also had fish over the years, but yeah, like the no, the like a cat or like maybe a gerbil or a mouse or a hamster. Those the kind that can crawl around and move around on their own. If like they're in the room and you're doing it. Yeah, that's Relentless is okay with it. Nikosi thinks it's not bestiality, but still strange. Relentless also recommends peanut butter on your ass and let the dog lick off. And Vicky's response to all this, Vicky's got two things to say. I mean, my cat enters the bathroom to watch me go to the bathroom. So if a dude's balls deep in, no, here's one. Yeah, I'll have to I'll rephrase the question. I mean, my cat enters the bathroom to watch me go to the bathroom. So if a dude's balls deep in you, it would be hard to care if a cat has entered the room. Here's one. And honestly, though, a closed door isn't hard to keep pets out. Yeah. And Nikosi now he wants to repeat the phrase. He wants to phrase it differently. Legally, not bestiality. Or someone else says, my Rottweilers do not let me climb redwood alone. So yeah, that one's okay with the beastie with the animals in the room doing it. All right. And Relentless says, peanut butter on your ass. Let that dog lick that. So it's a yeah. So I put some peanut. I had some peanut butter on my butt, and then I was going it up with this girl. I was about to finish, and then the dog came in the room. Her dog came in the room and started licking the peanut butter off my ass. So I decided to finish instead of stop the dog. And honestly, I kind of liked how it tickled. The dog had that cute little wet dog nose on my butt. It was ticklish. It was cute. And then, but then the weird thing was, I started singing the Lamb Chops play along theme song, and then that wound up grossing out my girl. Apparently, she doesn't find the Lamb Chops play along show sexy. So, oh God, I knew what I got myself into when I was drawing Lola Bunny last night, and talking about yes, it's our and here quoting Bill Clinton about it's our right to love, it's our constitutional right. As Americans, my fellow Americans, you want sexy bunny ladies, you want a man, you want a woman, yes. From sea to shining sea, much to the chagrin of the Chinese government and LeBron James, this is a free country where, unlike over there where a court in China legally declared that homosexuality can be considered a mental disorder that needs to be treated by therapists, over here, no. For the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled bestia furries lead way for the land of the free and the home of the brave. And the Tigers take the field. No, the Detroit Tigers, not the furry kind of tigers. But remember, this is America. The furry tigers can also go in and have a good fun. And don't act like there hasn't been somebody that one of those mascots in any of the major league sports, don't act like they haven't gotten laid in those suits. And with that, we have ourselves a finished Jessica Rabbit. I want to thank everyone for watching tonight. New viewers out there, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Besides all of that, you can help the channel by following the link in the description below to my online store, and you can buy pen and ink illustrations like this They are for sale at $25 a piece plus shipping and handling. I also have color drawings available for sale at $20 a piece plus shipping and handling. Like this one I did of Jessica earlier. I've got sketchbooks available for sale at $25 a piece as well, plus shipping and handling, including this one of my newly finished sketchbook of pen and ink illustrations, recreating the covers to the first 30 issues of the Fantastic Four and the first half of Frank Miller's iconic star-making run on the Daredevil comic from issue 158 all the way over to issue 175. It is right there for sale in my online store for $25. Besides that, you can commission me for pen and ink illustrations. Commissions are $50 a piece plus shipping and handling, and they are the last item for sale in my pen and ink illustrations categories. Besides all that, you can also make a donation of any dollar amount to my online store. And any dollar amount, the donations are the first thing you see when you first look into my store. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you aren't already. And I also have an Amazon wish list where you can go and support the channel with a purchase from there. Tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, I will be live again, and I will be illustrating Hollywood from Cool World. Thank you, and see you, Space Cowboy.